Hey guys, it's Dwayne Huff with Band Leadership Seminars, and in this short video, I want to talk to you about one of the things that can change the game and really set you apart from everyone else who would aspire to be a leader of their peers. Now, in the last video, if you didn't watch it, I put the link below. We talked about laying the foundation by making connections and building relationships with your peers. This is the time to be doing that here in January, February, March, whenever you're watching this, long before marching band season ever happens. So it's really important that we get out of our comfort zone, we start making connections and building relationships, especially with the people that we haven't been able to do that with yet, or reviving old relationships. But the very next thing we need to do reminds me of a saying I heard years ago, and it's really stuck with me, and it applies to leadership on all levels. It's this: when it comes to leadership, example is not the main thing, it's the only thing. And today I want to focus on how you set an awesome example for everyone around you so that your leadership has a strong foundation and people begin to know you, like you, trust you, and want to follow you no matter what your situation is right now, whether you're a current leader or an aspiring leader. So I think the first place that we can really jump in on setting an example, the thing that we have 100% control over is our attitude. All right. Now on the surface that seems okay, great. Well, we can have a great attitude or a positive attitude, right? I mean, think about it. Nobody wants to be around somebody who has a bad attitude, who looks like they've been weaned on a pickle. Okay. Right? But they have this bad attitude. They walk in and they're always, their lips poked out. I mean, nobody wants to be around that, but everybody loves to be around somebody who's passionate, enthusiastic, excited to be there. It's just contagious. It's infectious. So how do we control that? What if you're not this outgoing, supercharged, positive, excited person all the time? No sweat, no worries. There was a study done years ago at the University of California, and they wanted to understand what people perceived and believed or trusted towards what they perceive as our attitude. And here's what they came to find out. If you watched other videos or if you've taken the course, the online course for Band Leadership Online, you've seen a little bit about this, but it's a refresher and a reminder and an insight for those of you who haven't seen it. What they basically said is there's three things that go into what people perceive as our attitude. Number one is what they see, and it accounts for 55% of what they perceive to be our attitude. So what they see, how we dress, how we show up, the confidence that we have, the facial expressions, the smile on our face, the energy in our voice really contributes 55% to what they perceive as our attitude. So if it's positive, if it's energetic, or even if it's calm and it's authentic and genuine, people perceive that and pick up on it as our attitude. The second thing they said that contributes to what people perceive as our attitude is how we say what we say, and that accounts for 38% of what people perceive as our attitude and therefore trust. I mean, think about it for a second. I can come to you and I can say, hey, I'm excited and I am pumped up for your success. Keep that up. That's awesome. Or I can come to you and say, hey, I'm pumped up and I'm excited for your success. Keep that up. What did I change, right? I didn't change the words necessarily. I tried to say the exact same words. Maybe I messed them up a little bit. But what did I change? I changed how I said what I said, 38%. And what you saw whenever I said it, which indicated to you, and if you've done the math, that's 97% of what I just communicated to you was dissatisfaction on some level, right? And if you're doing the math, that was 93%. So if you're doing the math, 7% remains. And that means that what we say only accounts for 7%. And you just saw right there, I could use the same words. And how I say what I say communicates far more effectively, right? So another thing to look at it is that what we see is our body language. How we say what we say is the tone of our voice and the words that we use break down into 55, 38, and 7%. Doing math on camera is not a good idea, by the way. So we have control over this. And when we control this effectively, how do we control it? First of all, it starts with what we're thinking. So if you're surrounding yourself with positive experiences, positive stuff, positive people, positive music, positive influences, you're going to naturally gravitate towards the positive, and it's going to come out in your thinking, which shapes the way that you see the world or perceive things. And when you perceive things a certain way, your attitude is shaped by it, the visual, the verbal, and the vocal, which you see, how you say it, and what you say. And then when your attitude is shaped, it tends to control the way that you respond to or interact with other people. So it's very powerful and very effective. Now watch this. If your attitude is affecting the way you behave towards people and it's positive, guess what? People are going to respond to that. It's a basic psychological principle that says people do what people see, or people respond to what people see. So if you show up with a wonderful, positive, energetic spirit, yeah, it's going to annoy some people, let's just be honest. But for the most part, people are going to gravitate towards it because they want to be around that positive. But if you show up with a negative attitude, a sad attitude, if you walk around like Eeyore all the time, how are people going to respond to you? Not very favorably, and it's not going to put you in a good light as far as leadership is concerned. So setting the example in our attitude is what this is all about. And we have full control of it because it starts with the way we think, which shapes the way that our attitude comes out and the way that we treat others. And then whenever we treat others with respect and kindness, it shapes their perception of us and their attitude towards us, which ultimately shapes their behavior towards us. And even things are going down or spiraling or not looking good, you can show up with the right attitude and the right energy as long as you do it consistently, and people will start to trust that experience. They will start to believe in you as someone that they want to follow. And whenever you ask them or you guide them or lead them or suggest to them, they've seen that good attitude. They've seen that positive strength come from you, and they're more likely to want to get on board with what it is you're hopefully encouraging them and influencing them to do. So I wanted to just say right there, once you've made the connections, which was what we talked about in the last video, the link's right below here or in the email that I sent your band director, so you can watch that one if you missed it. Oh, by the way, as you're watching it, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel and the Facebook fan page. They're both /band leadership. So facebook.com/band leadership, youtube.com/band leadership, because if you miss these videos, you'll be able to go back and get the backlog. And I got a ton of them out there, and I'll continue to put them out there so it will serve you. And you'll notice on a lot of those videos, we have students commenting, and I'm right in there commenting with, so you have a question, if you don't understand something, or if you want to suggest something, or if you need to know something specific, I am active in those forums. So if you need to reach me directly and say, hey, Dwayne, what about this? That's the way to do it. But if you make those connections, which is what we talked about in those videos, and start building those relationships, the next thing we need to do is set an example. And the first place we need to set that example is our attitude. You would not believe how many people are paying attention to you, not just in the band room, but in the hallways of your school, in the classrooms, out in your life. And leadership is a 24/7 endeavor. Your attitude has to be strong everywhere. Now, we're human, and I know sometimes it's hard to keep that attitude, but remember, it starts with the way we think, what we're surrounding ourselves with, that ultimately shapes that attitude and behavior towards others. So take control of your attitude today, be consistent with it, and set an example for your peers, because after you've made the connections and built relationships, and then you're laying your good attitude on top of that foundation, the next time we come together, we're going to talk about some other things that are going to help you set your example so that you can continue to build the momentum of being a leader come next marching band season. So until we speak again, remember, you can inspire superior performance, but it starts with connection, and it's built by setting the right example for your peers. Talk to you soon. Have a great day.